We've got a caller on the line. That's John in Philly. John, thanks for calling. Thanks for holding. How are you today?
Hey, Steve-O, I'm very good. Thanks for taking the call. I wanted to ask you, Steve, about the Russell 2000 index, and I am not sure if the IWM ETF is the right vehicle to use here, or alternatively the futures contract on that Russell 2000. I make an observation and ask you a question. The
Sure.
observation is this: the high on the Russell 2000 futures contract, that'd be the December contract today, got up and made a peak at 15.29. And that high price, and we're a little bit below that now, nothing big,
Sure.
but we're below it. And the swing low back, I believe it was from Thursday, October 11th, was
October 26th.
I'm sorry?
October 26th, right?
Oh, I'm thinking the preceding swing low, which was a couple of weeks back.
Got it. Okay.
I believe it was Thursday the 11th.
Okay, I'm with you. Okay.
That was 15. That swing low was 15.31.
Yeah.
Today's high is 15.29. I've got a couple of tools myself, one of which says be on high alert that this rally today didn't get above that prior swing low. My question to you is there anything in your work that would warn similarly that the high made today could conceivably give way to a decline to lower lows, please?
Let me ask you a question. How would you, or would you just simply ignore it if you use that same swing point day of taking a look at where the Dow equity futures contract, the NQ futures contract, and the ES are trading? In other words, each of those are trading above that swing point. Would you let that factor into your thought process, or no, you're just going to say, hey, you know what, the Russell 2000 is weak, and this is where you would short? Is that kind of the thought process, or?
Yeah, you raise an excellent question, and you make the same observation I made in looking at the difference that is.
Well, let's talk about this when we get back to this break. I see we're, John, I apologize. I see we're just about to go into a break here. But please hold on the line and finish your folks. We're on the line with John in Philadelphia. We're taking a look at the Russell 2000 at this stage right here. He and I are looking at the daily equity futures contract. And I'm going to have John finish his thought on the question that I posed. But I also wanted to just throw it to you as well, John, because you asked about, do I have anything in my toolbox? And the chart that is on the screen right now is the Russell 2000 equity futures contract, but utilizing my Ninja Trader system. Now, this Ninja Trader system also uses and has the TAS market profiles. It uses the exact same math and logic to calculate those profiles, but every now and then it shows different profiles than the e-signal system, which also shows different profiles than the Bloomberg system, and sometimes it's a little frustrating. You just have to just go with the flow out here. And so the Ninja Trader system, which is very reliable, by the way, with regard to its chart patterns, has a top of its bearish structured box at 15.2820. So if we use that, I would say if price closed over that, then all of a sudden it's short-term bullish. That's right around the high of the day, not the exact high of the day, but 15.2820 would be something that I would be looking at. And the way that I would use that is I would say, well, if price closes above that, then likely price is going to go to the top of the daily profile that's formed on the e-signal system, which is 1551.80. But the question that I was posing to you was the fact that the swing point low inside the Russell 2000 equity futures contract took place on October 12th. The other equity futures contracts, that same swing point in essence was the day earlier, and in their cases they're trading above that swing. And the question was, does that influence you at all when taking a look at the Russell 2000?
Steve-O, I've made the same observations. The answer to that question of yours is no.
Okay.
And hence explains why I asked specifically, not about the stock market, but about the Russell 2000.
Yeah.
Clearly, on this bounce, it's the weaker of the four. And I appreciate you putting up the Ninja Trader data
Yeah.
Coincidentally, the top of the TAS box is right there at the high of the day. That's of interest to me. And I just might ask you, on Tiger TV, as we're looking right now at the Russell 2000 futures contract, that daily chart, is that red line, is that what you call your oscillator unchanged line?
It is. And so price is above that. So we had price moving lower, doing with less relative energy. Yesterday, in one day, you had the bullish reversal signal, bullish engulfing candle, and it closed above the oscillator and change line, which yesterday was 1505.90. As we speak right now, it's at 1503.20. So 1503.20 would be support. But in order to truly get a confirmed bottom with this Rhodes Momentum Indicator set of tools out here, you also like to see price close over the top of a TAS market profile. So if you and I were just exclusively using NinjaTrader's chart, and there's no reason for us not to, we would also take a look at the box and recognize that it's bearish in structure because the center line at 1504 is closer to the top at 1528 than the bottom at 1469. And folks, what the center and the top are telling you, the top of the box is where sellers are sitting. That's where they believe that they want to go ahead and fire away to the short side. And the center of the box is where you have both buyers and sellers. When the center is closer to the top or the bottom, in this case to the top, you've got this larger pack of sellers, in essence, this is my thinking in theory, to overtake the buying that's in there. So if price is able to close above a significant level of resistance from a market profile standpoint, there's nothing more bullish than a failed bearish pattern. So if the bounce is over, at least in the Russell 2000, you've got the October 12th that you looked at, John, the top of the profile inside of the NinjaTrader. And the cool thing is if you were to see price close above that, then I think what we also know is based upon the bottoming signals we got yesterday, the follow through today, you'd be looking at 1551 as the next upside price target inside of the Russell 2000 equity futures contracts. That is how, I would use the set of tools to try to figure that out.
Yeah, thanks so much for that, Steve. I just share an observation with you. The price swings, the intraday volatility has gone crazy large relative to what we've experienced the past 5 months. Namely, Monday we had a 103-point S&P point range, and then merely from yesterday, Tuesday, at the 2640 low, which occurred like 1 o'clock or something, we've gotten up to 2730, so up 90 points in the blink of an eye. Given these wide swings, of course, any precision on where we stop or don't stop, of course, is highly uncertain. So,
well, one thing I'd throw out to you. Sure. One thing I throw out to you, and I just put a 30-minute chart out here because, if we're going to get some wild swings, and one of the other tools that you will use is you'll use the Tommy DeMark system. And in this case here, what's on the charts are the Tommy DeMark setup, the initial of the sequential or the combo count out here. And on a 30-minute basis, what I would be looking at as an ultimate support level for that time frame specifically would be the low of the bar from 1 o'clock in the morning, and that low out there is going to be 1511.40. But I also know you, and you know me, and what we're both waiting on is at about 1600 hours, the exact time. Oh, I'd have to open it up, and I will open it up.
Good old boy, right? Some lunar event going on, right?
That's right. I know it's right around the 1600. And both you and I will be looking more closely at what price is trading at that specific time for all of these contracts versus probably anything else.
Stevie, I just, of course, I've said this to you many times publicly, but probably not as you're doing your show. Just a big hat tip for that discovery of yours back in 2013-14 about the utility of looking at the prices at the time of apogee and perigee and using those as reasonably good trading pivots. So big hat tip and thanks for that discovery.
Hey, my pleasure. And come the contract close today, we'll have a pretty good feel overnight what those pivot points mean. So thanks for calling. Always good to talk to you, and thanks for that observation inside the Russell 2000. You bet.